Hi, my name's Hamish Clarke, and I'm just going to answer a few questions that we got from our webinar launch of the Prescribed Burning Atlas. What are some examples of how fire and land managers can use the Prescribed Burning Atlas? The Atlas is primarily a device for looking at strategic options and their comparative outcome in terms of risk mitigation and cost. It can be used to compare effects of different treatment rates and locations on risk to different values and associated costs, including relative risk mitigation and residual risk. It can also be used to compare results between similar or different landscapes and to explore the effects of climate change on prescribed burning effectiveness. What range of fire weather scenarios were used in calculating risk? Fires were modelled under a series of fire weather scenarios based on the MacArthur Forest Fire Danger Index, or FFDI. The study used a selection of automatic weather stations, AWS, weather streams based on the 3 p.m. FFDI during the fire season. Where available, for each FFDI category, so low, high, very high, severe, extreme, catastrophic, 3 weather types were selected based on the predominant driver of FFDI. Was it wind, was it temperature, or was it windy with a change? Within each of these driver categories, up to 3 replicates were chosen. So the result of this process created up to 54 weather streams for each case study landscape. The risk of bushfire impact where there is zero treatment differs from location to location. How is this factored into the analysis? We focused on risk relative to zero treatment rather than absolute risk in order to better facilitate comparison between landscapes, which is a key aim of the Prescribed Burning Atlas. Using a relative measure of risk also mitigates against any biases in fire behaviour modelling which underpin these results, to the extent that biases are shared across all the landscapes. Pending user demand, future versions of the Prescribed Burning Atlas could include actual risk values. Note that in terms of people and property, the zero treatment rate is where risk is highest in all case studies. Do the indices in the risk matrix change to reflect the vegetation ecosystem? So the risk matrix reflects the full suite of local conditions contained in the modelling. This includes vegetation type, fuel dynamics, weather, ignition probability, land use, distribution of assets and burn blocks, among other things. Has there been any correlation between climate change and heat stress or heat wave consequences? Climate change is expected to lead to an increase in heat waves and associated impacts, although that is not the focus of our project. Our project doesn't explore this. A useful reference is Perkins Kirkpatrick et al. 2016 in the journal Climatic Change, published a paper called Natural Hazards in Australia, Heat Waves. What is a simple explanation of TFI, tolerable fire interval? Tolerable fire interval, or TFI, is used as an indicator of ecosystem resilience at a landscape level, helping to understand the impacts of fire. TFI reflects our scientific understanding of the amount of time required between fires to maintain vegetation diversity for specific vegetation types. This is based on responses of species with life history characteristics that are sensitive to fire frequency. Is there scope within the Prescribed Burning Atlas to investigate changing patterns of ignitions and the impact of this on various metrics, including cost? Yes, we currently use an empirically derived ignition model which relates ignition likelihood to important factors like weather and distance to roads and settlements. Simulations could be rerun using a different ignition model, and results could be compared to current runs, including differences in cost. We'd be happy to discuss the resources required for such a project with any end users. Thank you.